welcome to this part of my room where I get to film my reviews from now on. I hope you enjoy how this looks, and I hope you enjoy my review for Wendell and Wild, which starts right now. Hey guys, this is Jason, and this is my review for the newest Netflix film, Wendell and Wild, a new stop-motion animated film directed by Henry Selleck. In case if you don't know who Henry Selleck is, but you are a fan of stop-motion, he's a very well-known director. He has made some of the most iconic animated films that people love to this day. I'm a fan of Henry Selleck's work on stop-motion animated films, like Nightmare Before Christmas is very entertaining and iconic. It's a great animated film I would like to watch around both Halloween and Christmas time. James and the Giant Peach is good, but not as good as Nightmare Before Christmas, but I do have some nostalgia for it, and it is still an okay movie overall. Monkey Bone is, well, I mean, it was a movie with good animation on the Monkey Bone character. That's all I'm gonna say about that film. And Coraline is my personal favorite film of his. It has really good animation, even to this day, creepy imagery, and a really good score. And was also one of the only stop-motion animated films to be this close to be rated PG-13. And if you've seen Coraline, then you know what I mean by that. And that film came out almost 14 years ago, and Selleck hasn't made a newer film since then, until now, with him and Jordan Peele writing the screenplay for this film. So as you could tell when this movie was coming out and was announced to be in stop motion animation, I was pretty excited, not only because I am a fan of both Selleck's work and Peele's work, but I'm also a fan of stop motion films in general, whether they're films from Laika like Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings, or from Aardman like Wallace and Gromit or Chicken Run. And of course with some of Tim Burton's work, like him partnering with Henry Selleck as a producer and directing Corpse Bride. And I was hoping that this film could end up being one of Selleck's best films. So this movie's about a 13-year-old girl named Kat Elliott who's been going through some serious issues after a car accident that caused her parents' death and ruined her childhood. She is forced to go to this Catholic school where she has to learn how to make friends and not cause any more trouble, since some of the trouble she caused sent her to juvie. And then she makes a deal with two demon brothers named Wendell and Wild, both voiced by Keegan-Michael and Jordan Peele, to bring her parents back from the dead. This is also the first stop-motion animated film directed by Henry Selleck to be PG-13, and Monkey Bone doesn't count because that film is mostly live action with one animated character, and this movie goes for it. It goes for some pretty dark stuff that you wouldn't see in any other animated film in today's time. There's blood in a couple of scenes that happen, and there are characters that get killed in very dark ways, and there's a subplot involving arson at one point. Like, it definitely goes for some of the dark stuff that you wouldn't normally see in an animated film in 2022. The animation is really good for the most part. The character designs and the way they move throughout the film feels very natural, and the backgrounds in this film are really good. They look like a real world the characters live in, and you can tell all of the hard work the animators did to make everything in this film look incredible. The voice acting is strong. Both Keegan-Michael and Jordan Peele have really good chemistry together, and they're very entertaining, which makes sense since they've been working together for years, ever since they had their own show. Lyric Ross, who voices Kat in the film and hasn't been in a lot of stuff except for This Is Us and next year's Ironheart, a new Marvel Disney Plus show, she does a pretty good job as Kat here. And without spoiling, her character goes through some stuff as you look more into her backstory, and she doesn't like to hang out with other kids her age. She mostly distanced herself from everyone else, and you do get to understand that knowing what happened to her after her parents died. Just like Coraline, this has some pretty creepy imagery that could bother some younger viewers if they decide to watch this film. Like, without spoiling, there's one scene where characters are going through something gross. And that's all I'm gonna say there. But it's not like disturbing gross. Like, if you're gonna have kids watch this film, then okay. If they're like 12 or 13, then they can enjoy this film. But if you're gonna have younger kids watch it, then I don't know. That could be too dark for them to enjoy. It's not as good, I would say, as Nightmare Before Christmas or Coraline. I'm not saying this is a bad film at all. It's a really good film and it's fun to watch, but for me it's just not as strong as those two films. For me, it's a little bit on par with James and the Giant Peach if I remove the nostalgia for James and the Giant Peach. Like, it's fun, not great, but it's still enjoyable. And that's kind of how I feel about Wendell and Wild, just a little bit. Not great, but still fun to watch, and it's still pretty creepy. Which leads me to my negatives, and one of them is that there's a subplot involving the main villains of the film where they're trying to get this prison built so that they can make money off of it. While it does create some pretty interesting twists and turns as the film progresses, but it really grinds the main part of the story to a halt every time it's brought up, and it really messes up the tone. Well, not really messes it up, but it really doesn't match up with the main tone this movie's going for. For me, I would have liked this movie to focus more on Kat dealing with her Wendell and Wild situation and how that deal she made with them could take a toll on her. That would have made this movie a little more interesting and maybe a little more dark than how it is now. There are also some cliches in the film that did make me roll my eyes, like how Kat's parents died in a car crash, and we've seen that subplot done in movies so many times, whether that you have the main character in a certain movie and how did his or her parents die? Oh, they were in a car crash. Like, that really happens a lot. I would have liked to have seen like a different version of how her parents died. Wendell and Wild is not a great movie, unfortunately. It does have some issues, like the prison subplot that does overshadow some of the other subplots that should have been important but are barely mentioned. But most of the animation is still great. It still has good voice acting and a very dark tone that's very mature, and you still get to root for the characters throughout the film. If you're a fan of both Henry Selleck's work, Jordan Peele's work, as well as his work with Keegan-Michael on Key and Peele, then you're gonna enjoy this film. But if you're a fan of both Selleck and Peele's work on horror, don't set your expectations high and expect a great movie out of this, because if you do, then you're gonna be disappointed. I'm gonna give Wendell and Wild a B. Wendell and Wild I was super excited for, and even though I was slightly disappointed, but it's mostly to my expectations, it's still a good movie, a movie I would want to watch again, and it's a movie I would like to watch around Halloween time, even though Halloween is sadly over, but maybe next year. And I'm hoping that Selleck's next film is better, that it's still dark and stop motion animated, and it locks on the main story and have it be mostly about this character and continue with those dark tones. So guys, if you have seen Wendell and Wild, what did you think about it? Did you think it's as good as Coraline and The Nightmare Before Christmas, or did you actually think it was as bad as Monkey Bone? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for giving me over 3,000 views on not just one video, but for all the videos in my entire channel. When I saw that, it really floored me. So thank you so much for watching my videos and giving me that many views. It means a lot to me. And as always, if you like this review, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.